Hey, this is Alex. You're listening to my album In the Woods, available October 31st, 2019. It's a solo piano album, and on this YouTube version of this album, I'll be doing commentary after every track. Hope you enjoy it. This next track is called Chimes for Emily, and I hope you'll hear wind chimes when you're listening to this. So that track you just heard was called Chimes for Emily. I composed and recorded that track at Chattahoochee Bend State Park, along with the next track you're about to hear. So I like to take keyboards out to various places in the state of Georgia and compose outdoors, basically. And that's what I did with that track, and I hope you heard the wind chimes in there. So this next one is called Improvisation on 1,000 Stars. You just heard Improvisation on 1,000 Stars. So that's what it was called, basically an improvisation. There was no edits made to that. And that's actually in contrast to what you heard in the first and second tracks, which were heavily edited and actually involved a process called overdubbing, which, if you're not familiar with, is basically you would I recorded one track that was piano, and then I recorded on top of it another track. So if someone wanted to perform that in a piano duo context, in a recital hall context, it would definitely be possible. It needs to be arranged as such, but one of the famous albums that has done overdubbing on piano is Bill Evans' Conversations with Myself, that uses the same recording technique. So this next track you're about to hear is called Moving On, and this track actually predates the 3 other tracks by a couple months, and this was composed using a lot of electronic manipulation, so a lot of digital effects. You could essentially call it a work for piano and electronics. So it's very different from what you've heard in these first 3 tracks, so I hope you enjoy this one too. This final track that you're going to hear is called Raindrops Say Goodbye. So it's basically a contextualizing of Chopin's Raindrop Prelude, which comes from his set of preludes. And this is one of his most famous works, and you might not recognize it if you're not too familiar with the classical repertoire. It's one of the more well-known pieces, though. So I hope you enjoy this last track. It's called Raindrops Say Goodbye. If you made this far, I hope you'll check out my future videos by subscribing to this channel. And also, my music is all available on Spotify and Apple Music. I'd love it if you checked out my tracks there, too. Alright, without further ado, this is Raindrops Say Goodbye.